Wait, what do you mean different?
Well, I just mean not real Americans, like you and me.
I was born in Nevada.
And I'm actually French-Canadian.
What are you implying, lady? Hey kids, what's going on?
This racist lady won't let us play catch.
One of my favorite types of media is content made by modern showrunners before they hit it big. Whether it be crappy Newgrounds animations, or webcomics, or bad fan art, or good fan art, or failed pilots. Just chicken pocket, pull the strings on. Trick moon, trick moon, trick. Seeing the germ of something you know will eventually be great, but in a rough, forgotten object, is some kind of beautiful. Especially if it's something risque attached to a creator known for children's content.
I came here to teach these kids about teamwork and you're 3 sentences away from instigating a hate crime? What is wrong with you?
Which is 95% of the content that I produce. It's the kind of nerdy crap that keeps me making these videos so I can be like, you seen this shit? To my friends and force them to listen to me ramble for 2, maybe even 3 minutes on end. Genuinely, I think it's important to remember that a lot of the folks that can be idolized as genius creators every now and then by cartoon nerds started from humble beginnings. As a humble YouTuber myself, that gives me hope in some small way. I won't always have to be writing these videos on my phone while at work. Another one of my favorite types of media is about idiot 20-somethings still on the edge of childhood and adulthood. Mission Hill, Regular Show, the pilot of Welcome to Eltingville, they all speak deeply to my soul as a mid-20s man-child still trying to make it in the world. And that brings us to today's subject. A combination of these things and more gives you Ronin Dojo Community College DX.
I have the first copy of Cold Phoenix Saga 4 Transgressions of Freedom, or as all my fans know, I call it Cold Penis Saggy 4 Transgressions of Pedum.
Now, your first question may be, Wyatt, what the fuck is that? Did you just make that name up? Or if you're a brain lord like me and know what it is, you'll ask, why talk about it now, Wyatt? Well, when the hell else am I gonna talk about this? Also, it did begin as a Christmas-themed special, so that's my excuse, you fuckers. I also feel like this would be a good middle ground between the general cartoon community that I usually appeal to and me getting to talk about more internet nostalgia that was formative in my teenage years. Join me as we take a short retrospective look at this web series, what it did special, what it didn't do special, and what the creators would do from there. Created by Ben Levin and Matt Burnett long before their tenure at Craig of the Creek, Steven Universe, or even Level Up, it's a series of YouTube shorts made in 2007 and 2008 about a group of pathetic nerds that get themselves into trouble. Pretty simple setup, especially by 2007 standards, but you gotta remember that YouTube wasn't known for animation at this time, or pretty much ever. And that most things on YouTube were just shitty vlogs by Sex Man.
Hello, YouTube. It's my birthday today. Yay!
These guys were amateurs, sure, but it was a pretty professional look to the animation and writing on a platform that had barely just crawled out of the mud. In a way, it was very similar to the future episode topic, AVGN, in that they succeed in being competent above all else. That's not to say Ronin Dojo isn't funny. I'm in Your Manger, Killing Your Savior, their first short, is very plainly funny and well produced. While it leans heavily on nerd humor, you can tell the people making it are actually nerds themselves. I don't know, there's something pure about the fact that while these guys are ruining this high school play and offending the entire crowd with their D&D crap, the jokes don't begin and end with that. I love how there's a second set of nerds that show up, and then they get into a real battle, and I like that the nerds aren't all just nasally math geeks. These kids here seem like the kind of punk outcast kids I would play D&D with. Now, the discerning viewer might see a little similarity between these guys and the Creek Elders from Craig of the Creek. And yeah, they totally are the same characters, even down to there being a Jerry later on.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Jerry, you're supposed to be in line.
I thought you guys were getting here early. Creek rules. First to lose their weapon loses.
They were put into Craig not only to just continue being author avatars for the duo like Ronaldo was in Steven Universe,
Ronaldo? Yes, Steven?
but because they knew that they had to include something from their past work to really make Craig feel like it was their own show. Craig of the Creek is, again, an outstanding show, and I already did a video on it, but whenever it wraps up, I'll give it a full review. It deserves that much for being quite possibly the best thing out of Cartoon Network in the past decade. I know it's because I'm a white nerd guy, but there is something very relatable and weirdly comfy about this series that portrays nerds in this way. Not good, especially in Eltingville, they're pathetic assholes, but that's kind of what I mean. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at yourself about all the nerdy crap you get so passionate and worked up about. And it's nice to have an even-handed portrayal by people who get it, in a way. The main premise of the shorts involve a drama surrounding Mark and Barry crossing the sinister Ninja Geek Gamer on the release night of MGS4, making this quite possibly the most 2008 series in existence. The only thing that would make it more 2008 would be if Obama showed up and oh god, there he is. The plot thickens when Ninja Geek Gamer gets the FBI involved and they are nearly imprisoned for pirating MP3s and DVDs, and god damn it, this is making me nostalgic for the objectively shitty year of 2008, because this year of 2020 has sucked so hard.
Oh, god damn it. That's fucking it. My sister's a recording artist, you bastard. How do you explain 2 million view counts on her MySpace page and only 5,000 copies of her single sold? There's a fucking discrepancy there that can only be explained by sick fucks like you.
Pull it together, Glenn Holt!
Sadly though, the show kind of peters out before doing anything with any of these plots. Don't get me wrong, the overly aggro FBI raids and the MGS references and the final battle are all very funny and charming, but you can kind of tell that they ran out of steam quickly. Unlike Penny Arcade or Control-Alt-Delete or VG Cats or whatever the fuck, they weren't trapped into doing this nerd humor series by the commitment of fans, because it was never really that popular. So they naturally just grew out of it, I presume, and that's totally fair, because I would have too if I was 15. Ronin Dojo was short-lived, only producing a few episodes, but it still holds a very special grasp in my mind. I think it living on through Craig of the Creek is a very nice end for it, as I don't think the universe needs or even wants a story about shitty nerds sucking ass at each other.
I still don't get why this side character deserves a fully articulated figurine.
Because it's Moe, you fool!
While I wonder what kind of fun they could have gotten into if it continued, or even got greenlit as a full show at Cartoon Network, I don't think we're sorely missing out. The Creek Elder episodes of the Craig of the Creek are actually among the best and sometimes most touching and poignant in the entire series, and Mark, Barry, and David have far more depth than they ever did before, and they are by no means shallow cameos in Craig of the Creek. It helps that often it's Kelsey, my favorite character, who is paired with them in their stupid man-child antics.
She must choose her words wisely.
Matt and Ben would later make a series of shorts called Doris and Maryanne Are Breaking Out of Prison, an also very funny and charming series, but one written like a Sunday comic strip, so it's like 30 seconds each episode. Maybe these characters will even show up in Craig as a cameo at some point. I guess it's nice to know that characters can continue to exist and even grow beyond the boundaries of the work that they originated from. If a certain story quickly proves itself to be funny but shallow, like Ronin Dojo, those characters aren't doomed to purgatory. A decade later, they're back and quite literally better than ever. The story and setting they're in now allows them to be far more fleshed out than before. We've seen it elsewhere in things like OKKO, where quite a few characters are canon immigrants and given a second chance, all the way to Billy and Mandy, where Scar from Evil Con Carne becomes a secondary character late in the series. Maybe even in the future we'll see something like the cast of AJ's Infinite Summer appearing in whatever it is that Toby Jones is making. Either way, remember, your old cringy work doesn't have to be a millstone around your neck forever, and that work isn't wasted. Regardless if you run out of steam and can't get something to work, it still helps you develop your skills and grow. You can repurpose any crappy blemish of your past and make it into something better because it's your past. You may not know what to do with it now, but in the eternal words of the magic conch,
Maybe someday.
But after all that, this might leave you with a searing question. If Penny Arcade or Control-Alt-Delete or VG Cats or Ronin Dojo especially have outlived their worth as angry nerd content purely, is there anything from that era that has stood the test of time? Any kind of angry nerd content that has stayed funny even after a decade? Well, to find out, I think we're going to have to go back to the past to play the shitty games that suck ass.